Okay, look in verse 4. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God. Here he's talking about Revelation 22:1 that I'll be preaching on next week, next Sunday night. And he's talking about a river in heaven that never runs dry. Remember the story of in John chapter 4 where the woman was at the well and was talking with Jesus. And Jesus says, if you were to ask, I would give you living water. Living water, and you'll never thirst again. That's what he's talking about. Living water that you'll never thirst again. The river means that God provides for us. Not only does he protect us and give us the safety net, but he provides for us as well. River imagery here. And what happens when you don't believe that God's going to provide for you? You will take counsel of your fears. And that's one of the most dangerous things that we can do. Remember the story, perhaps in Genesis, where Abraham and his wife Sarah were promised by God that they would have a son. They would eventually have that son, name him Isaac. But years would pass, and the son didn't come. And so Sarah, by the kind of the customs of the day, said, look, why don't you take Hagar, my handmaid, and you have a baby by her, and I'll kind of adopt that baby, and it'll become mine, and therefore we're going to help God in that way. And immediately, Abraham said, well, sounds good to me. Both of them were saying to God, God, you cannot provide for me, and so I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you out in this. And they went outside of God's will. Eventually, Hagar and Ishmael had to leave the camp and go out into the wilderness by themselves. And there was trouble for them, and there's been trouble ever since because someone took their lives into their own hands rather than turning it over to God's hands. And so the Bible says, you need God to provide.